1980s and 90s, Toyota engineered multiple engines capable of producing over 1,000 horsepower. One of those being the 7M GTE found in this, the third generation Toyota Supra. This particular one is putting down 1,035 horsepower at the wheels. My name is Marcus, and you're watching Roads Untraveled. Hey guys, we're here today with Dwayne and his Mark III Toyota Supra. And the big thing about this car is the 7M GTE, which you pushed up to 4-digit horsepower numbers, which a lot of people, when you pop the hood, I'm guessing, assume it's either a 1J or a 2J, correct?
I get that all the time, actually, just for the simple fact that it doesn't look like, obviously, the 7M. It's got 2J coils on it, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's pretty common. And because it's running, maybe, because a lot of the people think, oh, it's a 7M, how many head gaskets have you gone through, and you know, how many engines have you gone through? You have to have thick skin to have one of these engines sometimes. To me, it's a pretty simple concept. I mean, it's like any other engine. You need to surface the block, you need to surface the head, and you need to clamp it down. The one thing with the 7M you have to do is you put the timing cover on with the block, and then you shave it at the same time, clamp it down. I have mine down specifically to 100 foot-pounds.
Right from the beginning, was the plan to build to 1,000 horsepower, or did you kind of start doing modifications and then somewhere along the way you were like, hey, I could really do this?
Like any addiction, it gets worse as you go. So I started off with just a couple of minor mods. Eventually it progressed into 360 horse, 5 turbos later, second engine later. It's where is that today? Compression's pretty much like stock. Turbo is a 75 millimeter. It's a Garrett, a GT4202 with a 115 exhaust side. Boost right now, it's 32 pounds of boost, makes 930 to the wheels on race gas. A little shot of nitrous is 1,035.92, so I call it 1,036. Pump gas, it's just under 800. It's 22 pounds of boost for 800 horse.
There's the power. That wasn't even half throttle right there. Just barely got on boost. So here we are in Dwayne's 1,000 horsepower Mark III Supra. The suspension it's stiff for sure, but he's got adjustable dampening on it, so it's definitely controllable. Thank you so much, Dwayne, for letting me drive this car. This is a privilege and an honor. If you have a car, and I mean, like, I've been in some cars with like 400 or 500 horsepower as a passenger. If you have a car like that, I mean, let's be real, that's cute. You jump in a car like this, there's just no comparison. I had no idea, being like a guy on YouTube watching car videos, you have no idea the power that's in some of these cars on the road until you get in one and experience it for yourself. I mean, commenters will be like, oh, you only have 1,500 horsepower, there's Gallardos out there making $2,000. This is at 740 at the wheels right now, and it is absolutely insane. I have no idea why anyone would need any more power than this in a street car. It's insane.
Hi, my name is Dwayne, and I'm an alcoholic. Okay, just kidding. I'm kind of a boostaholic. I'm here at an independent speed shop to get Bill to adjust the anti-lag on my car, just so I can build boost off the line. So I'm heading to the racetrack tonight. Right now it's just on a pump gas tune, so it usually makes around 780 and change on pump gas. It's gotten a lot hotter out, so I'm trying to make it a little bit more drivable. Also, just put a wideband in it, so you need to recalibrate that. So Bill's going to do that as well. So.
Why the Mark III Supra rather than the Mark IV Supra? Because ever since 2001 and the Fast and Furious came out, the Mark IV Supra has been the staple of Japanese tuner cars.
All right, no, you're right there.
Yeah.
Well, initially when we bought this car, my wife and I just wanted a car that's kind of sporty, similar to a 240 SX is what we had before. And it just really progressed. I mean, we just liked the car, did some modifications to it. It took the mods pretty easily. It's a really well over-engineered car.
Nothing that fast though.
Yeah, it's spinning third there. This engine's been in this car since 2008. A friend of mine, Ron Ramirez, he's a good buddy of mine. He actually built the bottom end. Then we sent the head out, get it done. It's got custom 300 lift cams by TED, makes them in Ontario. The normal head work, gutted head, springs, valves, that sort of thing. I've probably got on this engine probably I'm going to say 200 passes, probably the same amount in dyno pulls. So obviously this engine in stock format, it's not going to make this kind of horsepower. Some people have gone and pushed them up to 600-700 horsepower. Yes, the 2JZ can handle a lot more in stock form, but for how long is another question, right? So anything that you want to build as far as horsepower, 800 plus, 750 plus, you're going to have to build it anyway. So I decided to build this. So it's got stock crank, stock Toyota bearing still, stock fuel rail, just tapped to a -8 in the back, JE pistons, custom titanium rods. There's a lot of unique stuff in this car that I really feel good about. One of them being the valve covers, or CNC aluminum. My friend Ron, he designed this radiator as a custom dual pass. It's a dual top feed instead of a top and a bottom. He designed it and CNR Racing made it. I have a friend Eric that designed this water neck, which is again a one-off piece. One of my favorites also is the bulkhead connector in the back. It's off the firewall, so if you want to pull the engine, unplug it for the harness, just pull the engine out, it's easy to do. Alright.
That's fucking awesome.
I was just telling the other guy, I said, maybe I'm just used to it. It doesn't feel that fast to me anymore.
Oh, it's fast. I'm on it too. Oh, that's something.
A lot of people, because it looks pretty, think I don't drive it, but my wife can attest to this. When I go home, I got a ritual, like open up the hood and put a fan on it, keep all the engine bay paint so it's all clean. I spend, usually, if I drive it for one day, I spend the rest of the week cleaning it. So that's how I keep it the way it is. But to give you an example, a friend of mine, Shay, Jay Hall, and Brittany, we all went down for a cruise to Toyota Fest recently. And total mileage I put down was, for the Americans watching this, would be 2,500 miles, 3,000 miles in 4-day period. It's built to drive, but it's also built for horsepower. And I can also take it to the track if I feel like it. So
I see on the top of the hood here, you do have some battle scars. Tell us a little bit about that and what happened there.
Actually, that's funny because I had this car repainted in 2009, stripped, and I just went out to the track. I had a little smaller turbo on it than this one. It was a T88. It was making maybe 800 horsepower, 820 I think it was at the time. And take it down to the track for a pass, and boom, something happened. And of course I thought maybe I broke the engine or something, but it was still running, shut it off, and the turbo split in half. So I have broken a lot of parts over the years. Subframe, I've broken 2 diffs in the years I've had it. I've had it since '99. Transmission, surprisingly, for the people out there, I know there's some people out there that say, hey, How many transmissions I've gone through? Bone stock R154 was 1,000 horsepower. I just took it out recently because I had a Merlin crawler transmission, so I put that in. I also run a triple plate tilt and clutch. The differential, it's now a TRD diff. It's a bit loud, but, you know, it's almost like a lock diff, but it hooks. It's a lot better now. So, I used to work at a machine shop, and a friend of mine, Eric Stanrood, he's a really good friend of mine. He does a lot of the manual stuff. He does actually programming, all that sort of thing. But I said, hey man, I got this idea. I really want to do something, give my car character on the outside. And usually factory, they're 3-liter turbo. Mm-hmm. And I decided to do this. He's like, oh, I'll make it for you, sure. So easy for him. He's like, I'll just take him out for a steak and a beer and he'll make something for me, right? It's pretty cheap. So, so I had that made by him, and he's done a lot of custom CC stuff also in the car. This bumper is actually designed by me. I made this back in, I want to say 2002. I used to have a company called Carbon Fiber FX. Basically, this bumper is essentially like stock. I basically molded the factory bumper with the lip on it. So this is incorporated lip onto it. It's a little wider than the factory one. And just cut the hole out. And it's been, this is the original bumper, the very first one that I made. What I have here is a surge tank. And what it allows me to do is, if you have any fuel slosh, it prevents that. So essentially you have an in-tank pump. There's a Weldon pump inside the original gas tank. And then you have gas in your surge tank here. And this allows you to keep your main pump full of fuel all the time. So if you're going sideways or whatever, it's always pumping fuel, right? Maybe as I get older, I like to have things more simple, because back in my younger days, I had gauges and all you see was gauges. Yeah. But right now it's kind of simple. Just have a Motec dash display, so it has all the gauges built into one. Yeah, it's I run a Motec M600. It's fully unlocked, so it has a lot of features. Some features which I wouldn't even use, but it has traction control and it just ties in with the dash as well. And the dash is a CDL3. Back in 2009, I decided to do, after I thought the car was finished, don't we all, right? I decided to bring it to a guy and strip it down and replace it all and make it look like a new car. So every single component, trim-wise, everything, moldings, everything is all new. Now, a lot of stuff you can't get, maybe I lucked out. I think there's one piece in the back corner panel, or on the rear quarter, was the only thing I couldn't get that was original.
Oh man, it takes your breath away, honestly. I don't know how else to describe it. It absolutely just takes your breath away. Okay, there you go. I thought I was close to full boost. No, there's just more to the gas pedal.
You know what, we'll say that, and a lot of people will probably say this to me as well, you know, hey man, why did you put all this money into a Mark III and not a Mark IV? Well, I really like the body style. This has nice lines. It's a driver's car. And a lot of people are not gonna like this. I have a Mark IV also recently. It's for my wife. And I like both cars, but I personally like the drive of this car better than the Mark IV. And I know I will get a lot of haters on there for that, but I'm telling you, I have both now, so I could say that. But I really I'd love to drive this car. And it's a GT car. It's good for top speed. It's also good just putting around. Other than it being a little bit loud, it drives just like a regular car.
Warp speed! I mean, this is a guy that also has a turbocharged Hayabusa running 270 horsepower at the wheels. It's crazy. It's too addicting. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Go like us on Facebook, Instagram. Listen to the Roads and Travel podcast.